Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Fed Up, your no BS nutrition podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Marie, certified personal trainer and nutrition specialist, working with clients since 2014. After swimming up diet culture's bullshit stream for so many years, I am fed the absolute up with how miserable it's making people feel when we are supposed to be getting healthier. This podcast is here to help you gain your sanity back so you can stop yo-yoing once and for all and finally learn how to trust yourself so you can enjoy food again without fear or shame while still getting to your health goals. My aim is to teach you how to detect the BS in not just the food and diet industries, but in all realms of life, because I know that, like me, we are all just a little fed up. So without further ado, let's dive into today's episode. Alrighty. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 60 of the Fed Up podcast. And thank you for being patient with me, as it's been about a month since I published my last episode. So I apologize. I am just a one-woman show here, and June was busy. Oh my goodness. My best friend of 13 years got married. I celebrated my 4-year anniversary. There's just so many things happening. Today's my niece's 4th birthday as I'm recording this. So thank you for tuning in and bearing with me through this busy season. So I wanted to talk today about kind of how to prepare for your fat loss phase, because so many times we have a goal, we want to lose weight, we want to lose fat, which is great, but we jump into the deep end without building any foundation and structure, and we never learn the skills necessary to maintain our results, which is why so many people end up sabotaging, falling off the wagon, yo-yoing, gaining the weight right back. So there are so many factors that contribute to that, but one of them is that we are not setting ourselves up for true behavioral change. And I kind of joke with my clients that it is like taking the elevator, but we are going to take the stairs. So here are the 3 stairs that I think that you should be able to master and be very confident in before entering your fat loss phase, which I will say takes some people many years. I've only really had a handful of clients that I will say have come to me in this phase and they're ready to pursue fat loss, but so many people try to turn their lives 180 degrees, and they do so overnight. And so when you hear things like it takes 21 days to build a habit, or you're trying to do something 30 days in a row, you downloaded a program that is, whatever it may be. 75 hard is another one, right? It requires daily challenges. As much as that seems like a great idea to kickstart things, it's a very bad idea. You will crash and burn. It is very rare that somebody is able to maintain a positive relationship with their body, with food, with exercise, when they jump into this everyday habit challenge. So how you actually develop lasting habits is actually not by doing them every day. So let's talk about it. Number 1, I want to see that you are either in the process of and aware of, or you've already healed your relationship with food and your body. So this means that we are working through avoiding and coping and managing binging and restricting cycles, or skipping breakfast and binging or craving things at night, yo-yoing. So if you lose a bunch of weight, gain a bunch of weight back, you are maybe triggered by stress or emotions and you turn to food, which is super common and normal. And so all of these things are going to be what derails you from ever attempting and succeeding in your fat loss journey, because every time you have a bad day or you step on the scale and you have a fluctuation that went up a little bit, you sabotage, or you're spiraling mentally in this like negative self-talk. And that is ultimately what ends up people, they throw in the towel, so to speak. When you are comfortable with the scale, when you're able to be more objective because you are weighing yourself every day and you're taking the average and you're desensitizing yourself to it, or you've completely thrown the scale away and you never weigh yourself and you're not focused on that, beautiful. But if you're able to be a little more objective and you're able to manage your emotions in other ways other than turning to food, which a lot of people don't even realize they're an emotional eater. That is a whole journey. You could be eating when you're bored, when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're procrastinating, so many things. So once we're able to actually manage, at least again, the healing and the process of your relationship with food in your body, now we can develop structure and routine. So number 2, I want you to focus on building the structure of meals and the structure of like when you're eating and how much you're eating. So like you're regulating your eating patterns, so to speak, before you start counting macros or calories or trying to weigh your food. Most people don't eat regularly and they're not eating complete balanced meals. So jumping into eating balanced, complete, full meals and tracking and weighing everything like a madwoman is typically why, again, it seems impossible, right? You do it for a week and it's exhausting. It's mentally exhausting. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of skill to even be a little bit accurate with it and consistent with it. So I will actually have clients, the first step of this is to build structure into your day and into your meals. You have breakfast and lunch and dinner around the same time. You have your snacks around the same time. You have a fat, a protein, a carb, a fiber, enough calories, right? So sometimes we're eating too few calories at meal times, which causes us to overeat later or causes more cravings, or you're just not able to get enough vitamins and nutrients because you're not eating, or whatever it may look like. We are going to build some routine and structure into your day. So you should wake up and you should know what you're eating for breakfast around 8 a.m. You should know that you're going to have a little granola bar or a yogurt around 10:30. You're going to have lunch around 12:30 with your colleagues. You're all going to Chipotle. You're going to have a little snack around 3 p.m. because you're working out at 4 p.m. And then you have dinner at 6:30, right? Like you should kind of know that and it should be fairly regular. Yes, travel, weekends, children, life, emergencies, shit happens, of course. But if you can regulate even a little bit of this for most of your days, you're doing all right. Because you're not going to be able to count your macros or do your calories or like change up your eating pattern and your eating quality if you're not even eating on a regular schedule, if that makes sense. So start with that. And then number 3. So number 1, you're healing your relationship with food. So you're not emotionally eating and sabotaging your whole plan. Number 2, you're building structure and routine. You're not necessarily counting macros or calories. And number 3, we are going to fuel up before you cut down. So now that we have some structure and routine, we're going to audit. What does your breakfast look like? Are you getting enough calories? Are you getting enough fiber? How can we improve just a little bit week by week with nutrition quality, nutrition timing, becoming more consistent? Because consistency is what's going to get you results and get you results that last. And if you're not building that, then it's not going to work. And consistency does not mean 75 days straight. That's not consistency. Okay. So number 3, we are finding your highest maintenance calories. We're going to fuel your intense workouts and we're going to give you all the carbs and love, of food again, because you're actually giving yourself permission to eat. And you're going to feel great because you don't realize how much you feel terrible because you're not eating regularly and you're not eating enough. And then you're overeating and then you're bloated and then blah, 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 blah. We know the story, right? We've all done it. So now that you've dealt with some binging and restricting, you're able to be a little more comfortable with the scale. You've built some structure and routine into your day and your meals. Now you're finding that you can actually eat 2,600 calories. You're feeling really strong in the gym because you're lifting a lot of weight and you're actually able to have energy to take that walk in the afternoon for 45 minutes. If you're starting at 1,200 calories, you have nowhere to go. You have nowhere to go. And then you're going to feel like shit and then you're going to overeat. And your body adapts It's called metabolic adaptation or adaptive thermogenesis. Basically, your body gets used to being underfueled. So it says, okay, we will underexert. So you actually will lift less, move less, gesture less, laugh less. So you will burn less calories, even doing the same thing. Your body adapts and starts to slow your metabolism down. This is what's misrepresented as starvation mode, but it is a thing where, again, your body slows down its metabolism when you are underfueled consistently. So then anything you eat over that, you're in a surplus, you gain the weight back, right? As soon as you go back to your normal diet or your normal lifestyle after the 30 days, after the 75 days, you gain the weight back. So instead of doing that, we are going to fuel up so that we repair your metabolism, and your body says, oh, we can burn 2,500 calories a day. This is pretty nice. We know we're going to get fed at 8 a.m., at 12:30, at 3, at 6. This feels great. I know that I can relax a bit. So your nervous system feels better. Like, not overeating calories, but not undereating calories is so much better for your brain, your organs, your functionality on the inside and the outside. Alrighty. So once we do that, now we can cut down, my friend. So, case study here. I had a client recently who's about 180 pounds. She was counting her macros, counting her calories, and she was eating about 2,100 calories. And she wasn't really seeing any results. And we just started lifting like once, maybe twice a week. And again, she just kind of feels a little, we're just kind of doing the things. But she had a pretty decent relationship with food, which I love when clients come to me with that. She doesn't really have any binging, restricting. She just doesn't really know what to eat. So she starts to kind of learn about tracking your macros and this, that, and the other. Usually it's from bodybuilders. They've tainted it for us. But she was eating about 2,100 calories. And then I said, okay, let's slowly increase that over the next few weeks to about 25, 26. And she did that. And she tells me, she goes, I am feeling energized. I am lifting heavy. I'm able to push through. I feel great. I don't want it to go away. I love 2,500 calories. And she said her friends told her she looked great. She said that she felt she looked great. I thought, actually, I don't tell my clients when I can see that they've slimmed down. I don't congratulate them on weight loss. That's a whole nother episode. But I noticed that, like she had slendered a little bit. So she was telling me that she doesn't want it to go away. And I was like, it doesn't have to, but let's just chip away at it slowly. But if it's working, don't change anything, right? So a couple weeks go by and she decides, okay, it's time to cut. I feel pretty good. She cuts down to 2,100 calories, which was what she was eating before. So it doesn't seem like that crazy to do a 500 calorie deficit. And if you want to lose fat, they tell you it's 500 calories a day or about 3,500 calories per week to lose a pound of fat. But that's pretty aggressive. And nobody really tells you that. So she cuts it down to 2,100 and she's like, that first week was miserable. I couldn't stop thinking about food. I was craving things. I ate way too much at night. I started snacking after dinner. All of these things that come up when people are fighting through diet culture and they end up sabotaging or they end up falling off the wagon, right? It happens immediately because your body is like, we're dying, go get food. So all of a sudden, she brings it back up a little bit, right? She gives herself some room to breathe like 2,300, 2,400. And she's still like, I'm feeling strong, but I'm, trimming down and like my pants are a little bit loose. And it's one of those things that I wish every client would just take the time to really get to this step because, oh man, it works beautifully when I have a client that's able to actually stick with their high maintenance calories and then slowly chip away at it as they are lifting heavy and getting stronger in the gym still. So I also noticed when we gave her more calories at 25, 2,600, she was in the gym like 3 or 4 times a week. So again, like subconsciously, you might not realize you're skipping the gym, not because you're a piece of shit, lazy, motivated, or unmotivated person, right? It might be because you don't have any fuel and your body and your brain says, brother, take a nap. It says, lay down. You don't have any sugar. I don't want to expend energy. So you might not be lazy. You might just need to have a little snacky snack. So To recap really quick, before you enter a calorie deficit or a fat loss phase, which is evidence of a calorie deficit, period, you need to heal your relationship with your food and your body and emotional eating and be comfortable with the scale, or be able to at least be objective, or at least be able to manage the emotions and the spiral that happens from that, right? That way, you can actually maintain your results and you don't sabotage yourself. And also, it's better to have a good relationship with food. Food tastes better. Everything's better. Anyway, number 2, you have structure and routine. You're not counting macros. You're not counting calories. You are eating a complete meal or a full, satisfying meal 3 times a day with a couple of snacks, maybe twice a day. If that's your vibe, that's fine. But you have some structure and routine. You're not eating all over the place. You're not waiting until 4 p.m. some days and then having a big breakfast another day. It's pretty regular. Before you can count macros and calories, then you can start to audit some things. We're going to fuel you up. So if you notice you're only eating about 1,600 calories, we've determined you should be eating about 22. We're going to slowly build that up over the course of a couple of weeks or even months in order to offset the metabolic adaptation and lose weight on the highest amount of food possible. Yay, we want that. And then you're able to fuel your intense workouts and your energy and all of those good things that we love to live life with. Then you're building muscle and capacity and you're actually able to burn 2,500 calories. Then we cut down slowly and smartly. And then we lose weight. So there's your formula. I hope that this has helped a little bit. And if you need a little more help, I am now accepting some clients for online nutrition coaching. If you are interested or if you have any questions, just shoot me a DM or an email, Instagram at Kayla Marie _fit, or my email's hello@KaylaMarieFitness.com. And of course, check out my website for all my fun programs or ways to work with me. So I would love to help you out or even just have a conversation. Again, you don't have to buy from me to ask me a couple of questions. I'm here for you, and I want you to be able to understand this so that you can stop spinning your wheels and feeling like you are the problem. No, you're not the problem, honey bunches. You are just setting yourself up for failure because nobody's taught you the actual way to do it. Instead, it's like bodybuilders that are just eat boiled chicken and boring browned rice. And if you can't do that 7 days a week, something's wrong with you. Gross. Ew, I can't do that. And this is my literal job. Anyway, love you all. Hope this helps. I will chat at you next week. Bye. Thanks so much for being here, friends. If you enjoyed this episode, please screenshot and tag me over on Instagram or leave a 5-star review wherever you are listening from. Your support means the world to me and only helps me get the No BS news out to more people. If you're interested in working with me in nutrition or personal training, check out my programs and courses on my website at KaylaMarieFitness.com and on Instagram at KaylaMarie _fit. See you next week.